on the health department approving the system.
That's fine.
Yeah, because if they don't, I'm going to be putting it in. Thank you.
No, thank you. Will you keep this?
Yeah.
We need to vote on that.
You need a vote on the first motion that Ben made. Jeff?
I think what you technically need to do is make a vote on the amended motion.
I was gonna vote on the original motion and then vote on the amendment.
Generally, we have to work back the other way. But I'll vote yes.
Well, if we had voted on the original motion first, and we amended it. We're voting on the original motion, Jeff.
Yes, but you may want to check how that works.
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
Now on the amendment, Jeff?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Dan?
Yeah.
The clip you just saw there came from an actual meeting. In this particular meeting, it's a Board of Trustees meeting in Ohio, made up of a board of 3 trustees and a non-voting fiscal officer. Robert's Rules of Order was definitely not followed in this situation. For starters, the presiding officer, the one implementing the motions and rereading the motions and amendments, should be the president or the chairman of the board. And as far as the motions and amending motions go, here's an illustration showing how that should be. Any main motion or resolution may be amended by 1. Adding at the end, 2. Striking out a word or words, 3. Inserting a word or words, 4. Striking out and inserting a word or words, or 5. Substitution. A member rises, addresses the chair, receives recognition, and states the motion. I move that. Another member seconds the motion. A second is needed for discussion. The chair then repeats the motion and says, "Is there any discussion?" This discussion must be germane to the main motion. It has to have relevance. To improve the motion, a member rises, receives recognition, and says, "I move to amend the motion by," and they add their proposed amendment. This is a primary amendment. Another member seconds the amendment. Without that second, the amendment has no further discussion. The chair repeats the amendment and says, "Is there any discussion on the amendment?" To improve the amendment, a member could rise, receive recognition, and say, "I move to amend the amendment by," and states what their additional amendment would be. Again, it must be germane to the primary amendment. A secondary amendment, again, another member seconds the amendment. The chair repeats the amendment to the amendment and says, "Is there any discussion on the amendment to the amendment?" When discussion ceases, the chair says, "Those in favor of the amendment to the amendment say aye. Those opposed say no." Or it could be done with a roll call vote. If the vote was in the affirmative, the amendment is included in the primary amendment. The chair then says, "Is there any discussion on the amended amendment?" If there is no discussion, a vote is taken on the amended amendment. If the vote is in the affirmative, the amendment is included in the main motion. The chair then says, "Is there any discussion on the amended motion?" At this place, the motion can again be amended. If there is no further discussion, a vote is taken on the amended motion. Even though the amendments carried in the affirmative, the main motion, as amended, can be defeated.